Hey all, it's Maya here from Heretic, and I just wanted to go over just how I do guild recruiting every day that I'm playing, pretty much without failure. When I wake up in the morning and I start doing my daily quests or whatever I'm kind of working on my characters, I just wanted to kind of show you guys how I build in my guild recruiting activities along with my other things that I do. So there's generally two methods that I use. I do the macros where I spam the trade chat whenever I am in a city. So if you are not sure how to do macros, basically that's something that you can look up on YouTube or what have you. But basically, in your game menu here, the little question mark thing that I have here at the bottom, you go into there, you select macros, and you create different macros here. So here in your general macros is where you're going to want to put that. So that way, no matter what tune that you are on, those general macros will transfer from one character to another. So for some reason, in different characters or situations, my trade chat is on different channels. So I've created different channels to do the spam, I guess, ad that I put in the trade chat to get people to sign up. So for those of you who are part of Heretic, just go to our website, bookofheretic.com, just like it sounds, bookofheretic.com, and there my trade chat macros are there, as well as my other guild interview macros as well. So what I do is I put these macros here onto a little toolbar down here on the bottom of my screen, and as you can see, I've named them different things. The little right hand corner where it says recruit, and then it gives me the first couple of words of each macro thereafter. So what I do is, just when I'm just casually walking around town doing whatever, I just hit this, I don't know, maybe once every 3 to 5 minutes or so, unless I'm mega busy doing 12 other things. But I'll just hit it just like this, and as you can see, I'm on my character Porphyrius. It hits the trade chat and shows what we say. So there's that. Now, once I get a character, once I get a person that's interested in joining, they will generally whisper me. And I always ask them, hey, do you have a couple of minutes to join me in party just to go over a couple of guild basics? If they don't have a couple of minutes, or they're queuing up for a BG or in a BG or what have you, just kind of let them go, and do their thing, and just ask them to whisper you back when they are available. It literally only takes 2 to 3 minutes if they don't have, little to no questions. It can go longer if they're very detailed, of course, with their questions, but generally 2 to 3 minutes is all I need of their time. So once they are available, I invite them to party, and then going through each of these macros, you'll notice that it says /P, so that's why I need them in party, so that the whisper will go into our party chat. I don't like to put it in /say or what have you, because I want the conversation to be somewhat private and not everybody around us, you know what I mean? Plus, if I needed to copy the interview for some reason, if there was some particular RP aspect to it, it would be very interesting and easier to copy than to sort through all the /say chat that's going on around me, right? So basically, again, go to bookofheretic.com and look up the macros there, and it will tell you what those are. And literally, you just go through and you hit these macros one by one, let them answer, because at the end of each macro, it says things like, okay, is that awesome? Okay, that sort of thing. You know what I mean? So that is method number 1. Method number 2 is when I use, especially when I'm not in cities, I use what's called Super Guild Invite. You can get this on your Twitch, but it's Super Guild Invite. As of the time of this recording, it's 8.0.1, but of course they're always updating. And just a real quick on how I've set this up. You can scroll to change your level limits of people that you are looking for. Being the guild master, I'm looking for all levels. I'm good in Heretic with any particular skill class level. So I choose 11 because I want their tune to be beyond just the trial subscription level. So that way I get somebody who's going to be sticking around a little bit, hopefully is the goal. And then I go all the way up to 120. If you do happen to be looking for somebody very specific, you can choose, you can of course limit your levels, brackets, but you can also choose filters. So if you choose filters, you'll notice, well, it's for some reason not working on me, but, oh, here we go. If we add the filters here, what you can do is sort of select what classes you're specifically looking for, races, name exceptions. So if you don't like when they put XXX or XD or something like that, or LOL, things like that. Here's another spot you could put the level range in if you wanted to. It's just an additional place you could put it. And of course, max vowels and consonants in a row. So you can't, if you don't like people that are like AAA, BBB, or AA, BBB, CCC, whatever, because they're just playing around and maybe they're not the kind of character that you want. Being an RP PvP guild as we are, I really would prefer RP names, but it is not a requirement. But I don't want anything that is necessarily going to snap you out of that suspension of disbelief mode that you get in with RP. In other words, I want you to come and play the game and be somewhat involved in the game and not look at somebody's tune that's named Burger King or something like that, because then you're thinking, oh wow, this is not a game. I'm thinking about the real world now. And what's the point? In any case, back to the main screen here, I select Whisper Only. You can do different things like Invite Only, which is just kind of a spam automatic invite without even talking to them, or Invite then Whisper afterwards, which will throw them an invite and then say, hey, would you like to join Heretic or whatever. But again, being an RP guild, and in particular, I am trying to build quality over quantity, I am whispering people only because I want to have a conversation with them first. So it's whisper only. I don't really check off any of these things, but you can check these off and look through different things if you want to. These will generally just show you the class filter starts and how often it's going to be whispering people. But I do things very manually on this. So the last thing that you're going to want to do on this is edit your whisper. In particular, again, Heretic being an RP-oriented guild, we want to flare it up a little bit. Put a little bit of put a little bit of a panache on our guild invites. So with me, as you can see here, I just type here in this whisper my particular rap, from Porphyrius here, or my undead dispriest. So you can change it up though. You'll see down here you'll have several different whispers. So you can enter your whisper and just put in whatever you want and then save it. And then it doesn't have a back button here, so you just have to hit cancel. But you get to decide what whisper you are sending out. So I could just say hello, but I could go back to my whisper number 1, which is what I'm going to do, But you'll see you've got actually up to 6 whispers here. So So that's pretty much it on the setup. So again, when I'm out and about, and I'm especially when I'm flying, on a mount between flight points, I've got some downtime. Something when I'm just kind of trolling around and questing and not particularly overworked or overtaxed at my what I'm doing. I hit the button SGI here because your little add-on will appear however you have your UI configured. You hit that, and then you hit Super Scan. And let me try that again. Super Scan, there it goes. So you'll notice that it will start finding people here that are in the region that fit your bill, right? So what I generally do is I just start at the top of the list. I get rid of this here, by the way, so that way I can continue to quest and move around and such. I start at the top of the list and I just left click each name one by one. So in general, because of the hit ratios, meaning how many people I whisper versus how many people actually respond to me at all, I generally like to hit 3 names at a time. That way, if I do get a couple of hits out of just a couple of invites, whispers like that, then I'm not overworked. But I have gotten myself into a situation where I whispered 3 people at once and all 3 responded. So generally there's other officers that are online, and I've asked one of them to kind of like help me out. Hey, could you interview such and such? Invite him or her into a party and go through your interview macros and see if they're a good fit. So here's basically what I do. I just go click, click, and click. And then you'll notice that right here, boom, 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 you'll get the, I use WIM as another add-on, so it will show me exactly what whispers are going out. So there's my whisper. Ooh, it looks like you need to edit that A out of there. But also down here, you'll say there is no player, DeLorean or Glintz, that is currently playing. So sometimes even when you run this, and I've had this running in the background for a while, those people have already come on and logged off. So that's what that really means. But again, like I said, I like to have 3 people, 3 invites kind of out there in the world at a given time. So I'll just hit a couple of more until I know they've taken. So it's the second one and the third one. So there I've got 3 out there. And then right after that, I just basically I just get rid of it on the whim. You know what I mean? So, and then, maybe one will respond. Again, my hit ratio is about 1 out of, I would say, 25 to respond, maybe 1 out of 50. Depends on the night. And then, usually if they're responding to me, they're interested and they give it a shot. I would say it's a good 90% chance at that point that they're just going to go ahead and join. 10% of them, again, they'll start talking to you, maybe rethinking it, whatever. The other thing is when you invite them to your party, if they just don't have the time for you, my particular policy is to say that, okay, well, get back to me when you do have the time. Because if they're looking for just an instant guild invite without having a conversation about our guild basics and such, then that is the kind of player that I am not looking for my guild. I'm looking for people who are into RP and into, casual play, but also into having time for other people and having time for other guild members. So if they literally don't have 3 minutes for me, then I literally don't have 3 minutes for them either. So that's kind of my general rule. But you play that however you want to. Another thing I want to comment here, if you look at the list here, I can generally go through the list and just get rid of people that I know that I'm not going to want to invite. So this one says, you kind number 2. You can number 2? I don't know. It sounds a little vulgar maybe. I'm not sure. You can't number 2, maybe in like German or something. I'm not sure. So I right click on names that Again, I'm not generally super strict on the RP naming, but I definitely don't want it to be weird either. So I get rid of that one by just right-clicking. And you'll notice that one disappears, but there is no whisper that goes out. GD Bank, that's probably somebody's bank alt, so I'm just going to right-click on that one. They're not going to really be a player. That's just a bank alt. Link ZYXO, maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure, but that's sort of those things. That's your shot call. So anyway, I hope that helps. And then when you're done, if you're just kind of like done playing with it for a while, see this little pause button? Just kind of pause, and you can start again if you want to, and it will start. This is all jumbled up. Sometimes it gets like that. It's usually clearer than this, but it's still functioning. You can purge it, which means get rid of everybody here on this list. You don't want to look at them again. But generally I'll do that, and I'll just get rid of this whole thing, and then do my raid or quest or whatever. And again, when I'm ready to go again, I just go back to SGI, super scan, and it picks up right where I left off. So anyway, Heretics, I hope this helped you, and hit me up if you have any questions. Thank you.